Okay. Russell, if you'd roll call, please.
Sure. Just make sure. Okay. Mayor McKay,
Here.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Here.
Councilmember Amundson. Councilmember Amundson.
Here.
There you go.
We can hear you.
Councilmember
You can hear
Hartman.
me? Because I can't hear
Here.
hardly anything, so.
Councilmember Jablonski.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum, Mayor.
All right, if we could please stand for the pledge, and Russell's going to lead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of the
of the
United
United
States,
States of America,
To the republic
republic
which it
which
stands,
stands
one
nation, under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty
liberty
and
and
justice
justice
for all.
all.
Can't hear me. Really weird.
So Delsa, let's try plan B before we get started. Can you hear me?
I think so, yes.
So down where the little microphone is, you'll see it down
My
in
little
the,
yeah, down where the little microphone is, yes.
click on the up arrow.
Yes,
Now you see at the bottom, it says audio settings.
I do.
So the top where it says
Never mind.
speaker,
Oh my God. It
you
went
unplugged.
It works?
You unplugged. Sounds like pilot error.
Oh my God. Okay.
We hear you just fine.
Yeah, well, you're coming in loud and clear. Oh my
Okay.
God. The
Must have
fall.
been when you stood for the pledge.
All right, so Keith, Russ, or whatever for public comment.
Yeah,
You don't
we
wanna-
have, you want me to read the rules for public comment?
Yes, sir, you would, please.
Okay, so we have speakers are limited to 3 minutes. I'll check and see in a minute from the participants or the attendees who wishes to speak, but you're limited to 3 minutes. And let me just check that list right now. You can only speak on items not on tonight's agenda. And let's see from the attendees, I don't see any hands raised. If anybody wishes to speak during the public comment section, please raise your hand. I can see 2 now, okay. All right, so Steve Brightcruz and Debbie Green. Steve, you're up first. Oh, David Sears is also raising his hand at this point too. Let me start with Steve. Steve, can you hear us?
He's got his mic muted. Oh,
There
There
it
it
is.
is.
Steve, can you hear us? Steve?
You can see his mic jumping up and down, so he's got a technical issue on his
All right.
side.
We'll come back to him. Debbie Green. Debbie?
she's muted.
There you
There
go.
she is.
Hello.
You have 3 minutes, Debbie. Go ahead.
Alrighty. I just wanted to just give kudos out to Madison Sullivan for persevering and working with Town Hall to bring the event over the weekend together, the Southwest Ranches graduation parade. I think it was a huge success, and it's one I doubt that any of the graduates or their families, parents that attended will ever forget. So just wanted to give her a shout out.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. Appreciate the comments. Okay, we'll go on back to, we'll try Steve again. Give me 1 second, please. Steve, you have the floor. Can you hear us, Steve? Steve, can you hear us? Okay, we'll go on to Mr.
David?
We'll go back to Mr. Sears. Hang on 1 second. Hold on. The participant list jumps around, so just give me 1 second here. Okay. David, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right, you have 3 minutes, sir.
Good
Good afternoon. I just want to commend the council, the mayor, the vice mayor, and the council and everybody for the response to the thefts that have been going on out here in Sunshine Ranches. And thank you for adding the added police. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys for looking out for the residents.
Thank you, Mr. Sears. Appreciate the comments. 1 second. All right, let's try Steve once again. Steve, are you there, sir? Steve, can you hear us?
What I would do, Russell, is because Steve was
Have him
the
call
final
in.
speaker, is let's go to through the agenda, and then at the end of the agenda, go back to Steve and let him do his public comment at that time.
Okay, and Steve, if you're having some difficulty, you can always call in, and we can take the your comments over the phone as well. The number was provided in the meeting invite. Hopefully you have the meeting invite in front of you. If not, it's online, and you can follow those steps and call that number to call in. Okay, so we're going to move on at this point. And we're going to start with the ordinance first read. Mayor, would you like me to read the, I'm sorry, we got board reports. Go ahead, Mayor.
Yep.
My apologies.
That's all right. Board reports is good.
I don't
Nobody
see
raising their
anybody-
hands.
No, no one's raising their hands for the board reports, Mayor.
Okay. We will go on. Legal. Oh, council member
Council.
comments. Council member comments. Who would like to go first?
I will.
Right ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank everybody for coming and zooming in. I'll be really brief. I just have a couple of things on. One, Mr. Spears alluded to was the rash of vehicle break-ins that we're having right now. And the thieves are coming here because we're making it very easy for them and attractive.
Yep.
I mean, it's just like unbelievable the amount of unlocked vehicles that were hit, over time. And also I want to caution everybody, we did have a few vehicles that were hit here in Rolling Oaks, and the contents of the glove compartment was scattered about, and the car registrations were very prominent. And what in further thinking about it, the thieves might have been taking pictures of the registration to use that as an identity theft process in, social media building. So I just want to caution everybody about that is a very real possibility, between Facebook and everything else that they can glean about your personal information. So, they're bad people, and, we need to be very careful with it and keep our doors locked. The other thing I want to mention is we had a great parade for all our town graduates, put on by some private individuals. Madison Sullivan, she gets a big shout out, and her mom, of course, and Mindy Cunningham. They all worked extremely hard to pull that off. But I would also like to thank the town staff, who worked very hard also, and Andy, you guys did a great job. So I just want to mention a shout out to all of them. And I'll be quiet. I'm out of gas.
Okay, who'd like to go next?
I'll go next.
Go ahead,
So, let's talk about these burglaries with the cars. I was amazed. I started getting emails from residents that were hearing about it, and I gave Andy a call because it's in the police report. But Andy brought something up. For the life of me, I can't imagine why people leave their, keys in their car, why they leave their cars open. Then it occurred to me, my wife got a car a couple of years ago that has the push button start on. All you got to do is step on the brake and push the button. As long as the fob is within, I don't know how many feet it is, but if you're in the car and it's there, boom, you're done. My thinking is, and Andy and I were talking about this, it's possible that people, it's convenient. And if you lock your car, when you get out, your fob is locked in. Now, it might seem like a really convenient thing to have your fob in there, so all you got to do is jump in and push the button. But from what I understand, a Mercedes-Benz was in that situation and got stolen during the same time frame as well. So as convenient as it is to leave your car unlocked, to leave your fob inside, or just leave your car unlocked, even with a locked gate, I wouldn't trust it, because they'll come over your fence. Unless you got big dogs, video surveillance, and snipers on the roof, I'd lock it up. It's the simplest answer. They're not breaking windows. These are crimes of opportunity. They're just going down. We saw it on video on the Ring doorbell when it happened over in Ivanhoe last year. These guys, and Andy brought it up to me as well, these guys get out of a car, they go down the street, one on each side, there's a driver, and if they find a car that's open, they take everything they can out of it. And Gary, you're right. I'd be worried about identity theft as well, because purses have been stolen, all kinds of personal items, weapons have been stolen. I mean, all kinds of crazy things that people have in their car. These guys take advantage of, and you know, you'll probably find it at the pawn shop. But your identity, I know from a couple of residents, once that's stolen, your life is hell until it's all, until you resolve it all. Mike Hanley out west, he's had problems for years with one identity theft that's caused him problems for, it's probably 3 or 4 years now. So the best prevention is lock your car. All right, I too want to bring up the graduation, the graduation celebration that happened on Sunday. I'll tell you something, that was one of the nicest things I think the town and the residents have done for the residents yet. You know, Madison, I should say the Sullivan family, they all chipped in. I want to make sure we don't forget our residents. I mean, our administrators, though. I mean, Russell was a big part. Deborah was a big part. Danielle and Andy. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but I don't think it would have happened without them jumping right in. Also, I think I might have a replacement for me as the photographer. Mindy Cunningham's daughter, McKenna, was the student photographer, so I'm trying to persuade her to replace Bob as the unofficial town photographer. So anyway, that's about all that I wanted to mention on that. It was a great time. I think there were 30, I've got a note here somewhere. There were about 33 graduates from West Broward, and I didn't see any markings. I understand there were 2 cars there as well from Archbishop McCarthy. But so if it was 35, that's fantastic, because there is no, as everybody knows, no high school, no college graduation. So that's a pity. I mean, you put in all that hard work, you look forward to it for 4 years, and the virus comes and takes it away. That's the last thing I wanted to mention is the virus itself. If you're watching the news and you watch the counts and you watch the state website and you watch the international websites that are showing the numbers, I mean, we're over 2 million people that are sick now, have gotten sick now. And Florida's numbers right now are soaring. You know, they're talking about Memorial Day weekend. They're talking about everything opening back up, being the contributor. I don't think there's any putting a cork back in the bottle and sending everybody home. So the best thing you can do now is protect yourself and protect your family, because this is going to be with us. And every time we have a big celebration, 4th of July is next. What's the spike after 4th of July going to be? So I'm worried about all of our residents. So far, we're in pretty good shape compared to a lot of places. We're up to 5 people that have tested positive for COVID-19 in Southwest Ranches. I didn't check today. It might have gone up, but you know, I got to believe that we're doing something right out here as far as our lifestyle and being able to kind of keep our distance. My heart goes out to the people that live in these big condos and apartment buildings, because you could walk right past somebody going to the elevator and pick it up. So, all right, Doug, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Ladies,
I have one thing.
go right
Yeah.
ahead, Elsa.
Well, 2 things. I've already thanked the Sullivans and all their helpers for what was happening with the graduation. But what I wanted to bring up was, it's come to my attention that mulch on properties causes spontaneous fires. We've had fires in the past, and one recently last month. This is not a slight on nurseries or anything, and I brought it to the attention of Julio and Jenna and Andy. Mulch, what happens is if you have mulch piles, the bottom gets very hot over time. And if it isn't turned or moved or in some way, I don't know, kind of like a salad with the 2 spoons, you know, you could stick a thermometer in the bottom and it's hundreds and hundreds of degrees and then it combusts. And the thing is that if we could, Julio, I wanted to ask the council if they would let Julio look into this to see if there was anything we could do to either by code or something, maybe have people who have piles of mulch or mulch on their nurseries. And I love our nurseries. This isn't against nurseries. This is just protection of the people and the properties around nurseries or people who have a lot of stuff on their property. If we could look into the feasibility of having them do this either once every 6 months, once a year, but as long as it is turned to put the heat on the top so it cools off and the cooler part on the bottom, I think it would be something we could look into, because the last one was about a month ago and it was several acres of mulch and surrounded by trees on the outer fringes. And
Elsa,
just-
let me jump in and join you just a minute on this. We've had some fires in the past related to mulch burning, and we've had to call out dozers or front end loaders to turn it so they could get the fire put out or whatever. So I would probably reach out or ask Andy or Julio or Russell what we might do moving forward related to what you're talking about. Because we have had that in the past, and we had to call residents with heavy equipment to come move the dirt. And go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, Mayor, if I can jump in.
Sure.
Councilmember Amundson and I had a conversation about that, and I know it's gotten back to Julio. We don't have anything in our code now for that, but it is certainly something if council would like to direct us to look at that. Obviously, we'd be happy to take a look at that and bring some more information back to you.
I think that would be a good idea.
Just a quick question. Just a quick question. Does the
obviously
go on, Elsa? I don't want to interrupt you.
Go ahead, Bob.
Just a quick.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bob. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Go ahead, Bob.
It's your turn. I'll wait till you're done. Sorry.
She's finished. Ahead,
No,
Bob.
she said finish mine. I read her hand signals. What I was wondering, I know we don't have anything in our code, but how about the county? It seems like it's probably not just our issue, but all over the county. So maybe that's the first place to look before we start drafting a new law.
Yeah, we'll do our homework.
I actually wasn't suggesting us drafting a new law. My suggestion was for Julio, the town, whomever Julio thinks, to look into it, to see what exists already, perhaps in other places in Florida, or agriculture. I'm not saying we should have a brand new law. I love our nurseries and I love people that have nurseries, but I'm just saying this is a protection for the people and the properties around those nurseries that may have large piles of either debris and or mulch. It's like putting 9 blankets on a bed, and underneath you're sweating to death, and on top you touch it and it's nice and cool. It has to be turned. And so I'm not looking for onerous laws, if you put it that way. I'm just looking into seeing what we can do to prevent these types of fire, or at least prevent their
Like Bob said, what the county does, maybe what other municipalities do. Let's just kind of reach out and check it out. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say, and I'm glad that I might have your support in this.
We all on board with that, or having it looked into?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Can't
Okay.
hurt.
I just Googled it. It's a real thing. I mean, it's not a small thing either.
Okay. Anything else, Elsa?
I was just going to say I didn't Google it. I just knew from firsthand. Thank you.
Okay.
All righty. Good deal.
I just want to thank everybody for the parade. I think, Andy, you and your crew did an incredible job. I know it was kind of last minute stuff, you know, but everybody came through with flying colors. Madison did her job as I expected her to do, and she does a good job at it. And she should be grateful she's got her mom pushing her behind her, because she'll know how to operate when she gets older. And I think that's educational for her. You know, take what her mom's got and use it, and go on from there. I had a lot of people call about the flooding, the rain that came. And as I told most of them, if you wait long enough, it will go away. They were complaining about our canals being too high. And I know for a fact, because I put a call into them, they were pumping them out so fast, they just couldn't keep up with them. So word to the wise, if you're out there and it's pouring like that and you see the streets are flooding, you're going to have to drive with caution or get off the roads and stay home and wait for the rains to stop for a while. Other than that, that's about it. Thank you.
All right. I'll go. What a great job staff did, and what a great that the Sullivan family and everybody pulled that together. Madison did a stupendous job bringing that forward and suggesting it and helping organize it, and the staff stepped up and helped execute it. What a job well done, and everybody was thrilled and happy, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. And I was happy that the principal came out and joined us, and it was a good job altogether. So I appreciate the kids and the families coming out and participating, because it wouldn't have been anything without them. So,
If I can just say something real quick.
Go ahead.
I know I don't do it often enough, but I want to thank Bob Hartman for taking all the photos of all the kids in the cars. I hope they go to his sites and they can see their photos. Or I don't know if you talk to the West Broward principal to let them know that the kids could be, you know, on that site, and maybe they could download their pictures or whatever. I'm looking forward to getting some from Athena. I had a graduate myself, and she got her little proclamation, and she keeps reading it over and over and over, saying, it says I'm a big kid now. So thank you, Bob, for taking the photos.
Glad to do it. Happy to do it. And the pictures are all over Facebook, so chances are. But I'll get in touch with Principal Fatto. That's a great idea. Thank you.
That would be a great idea. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Let's see. Legal. Keith,
Mayor?
you're up to bat.
Mayor, if I may ask, Mr. Brightcruz has called in, and if we can take him now before we move on, that's okay with
Go
the
ahead.
council? Okay.
Yes.
Let me go ahead and grab. Let's see. Okay.
Hello, Mayor, Council.
There you
Yes,
go.
sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
There we go. There we go. Thank you for the accommodation. I appreciate that. I just wanted to also congratulate the graduates. That's exciting, and it's exciting what the town, the residents did. That's great. The other thing I wanted to mention was just that honored to have qualified for the mayor election this coming fall, and I just wanted to say up front that I have total respect for the mayor, Mayor McKay, and I look forward to this time, even in quarantine time, to focus on the issues and allow the residents to choose and to vote, and to, regardless of the outcome, to focus on one town and to come together and to continue to move forward. So thank you for that, and look forward to that campaign process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brightcruz. Mayor, let me just double check. There's no one else. There's no one else waiting to speak, Mayor. So.
All right. Legal, Keith's up to bat.
Just real brief, congratulations to all the seniors. As it relates to the legislature, nothing is really new. The governor still hasn't been presented any of the town's bills, so we still remain on hold, waiting to get an action on that. Other than that, things have been nice and quiet for the time being. Back to Andy for administrator comments.
Andy, you're up.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things on the graduation from Sunday. While it was nice to hear the thanks, I owe it to Russell, to Deborah, and to Danielle for their hard work behind the scenes. Madison Sullivan is very clearly her mother's daughter, and was quite stubborn, quite persistent, did an outstanding job, and I appreciate that. But I also want to thank the vice mayor. She and I had a number of conversations about this in anticipation of the event, putting it together. So she didn't get any credit for that, but she did provide some assistance and a sounding board. So she was very helpful. So I want to thank her for that. The next thing is I want to give you all an update on the fire assessment. We are working with our consultant trying to get that done. We are at the mercy of the consultant who's running behind, and I apologize for that. But we look forward to having something to the council, hopefully as soon as the next meeting. So we'll go from there with that. On the surtax and or drainage and infrastructure projects, we cleared the oversight committee, and all our projects, as I told you all via email previously, all our projects were approved. The next step would be to go to the county commission. It's on the county commission agenda for June 16th. So that's the next step in that project. And the other thing I wanted to bring up, Mayor, the next council meeting is 2 weeks from tonight, is June 25th. At the present time, the governor's executive order allowing us to do virtual meetings expires at the end of the month. There have been requests from Miami-Dade County, and I believe there will be from Broward County, from some attorneys to extend that. But some of you had voiced concern to me on the Archbishop McCarthy item and potentially having that in a public meeting. So I did, with all of you tonight, want to kind of ask you about that, get your feelings on that. If we're able to continue to meet virtually, do you want us to do that? Or I just want to get your kind of consensus on where you are for the next meeting, or any thoughts you have beyond that.
Me personally, I would like to see us try to have the meeting at town hall for that issue if possible. I would like the virtual part as a backup if need be, but I would like to try to plan to have that meeting at town hall.
I'll go, if I could.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. I think when we get hot button issues like that, or potential hot button issues, I think it would be good to have it out in the public with all the standard precautions, social distancing, whatever we have to do to do that, so the public can be heard, whether they need to come in and out on rotation, whether we need to put seats outside, whatever it takes to do something like that. And whether we do like every other meeting until a vaccine or some, something is done that we can all, get more than 25 people in the room. I think we should pursue that,
Yeah, so what you're saying is, like, we have 2 meetings a month and maybe one virtual and one physical.
Yeah, something like that,
As
where
best we can,
one is
yeah.
one is more or less housekeeping, and of course that's all subject to change,
Right,
with
sure.
something to come up, and one that may involve quasi-judicial and
I agree with
things of
that.
nature.
I agree with that
It's
statement.
a suggestion.
Yeah, who'd like to go next on this?
I
Right
agree
ahead.
with you. I agree with you, Doug, and I agree with you, Gary. I really do think eventually we really have to come out of our caves, and we can wear masks. We can do whatever it is we feel needs to be done for ourselves or for the people next to us. But I agree that we do need to get back together and have a one-on-one type of conversation with people again, I mean, it's nice seeing you all in one place and straight ahead, but I'm just saying.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, anyone else?
I agree. I've spoke to Andy about it, and I think the 1 a month to be virtual for not so much the real big issues, because when you're talking about, like we were talking about the Archbishop Diocese, I think we need input, and I think we need the residents there to voice their concerns, and it's too hard doing it virtually. So having 2 meetings a month, one virtual and one in town hall. I think it's a good idea.
Bob?
Bob, you're muted.
You're muted. Okay.
Russell,
go.
did you mute me?
There was a phone ringing in the background at some point, and I thought it was yours. So
Nope.
sorry about that.
I'd like to see a hybrid. I mean, I haven't been in my office since March, and I'm not going back until probably September. Now, I'm not suggesting I inflict those same rules on you, but I'd like to be able to continue doing this from the safety of my home. I mean, I watch the news every night and I see these numbers going up. So the risk goes up. The probability of getting sick is going up. This isn't because we're doing more testing. If you watch the news, they're talking about more people are getting sick from exposure. And I really am not interested in getting exposed. And given the demographics of our audience, generally speaking, I think it's risky to ask a bunch of people to come into town hall. So I know you'll keep them 6 feet apart and people have masks on, but I personally don't want to risk it. Call me conservative.
So a hybrid being a virtual and physical, or what?
Yeah, exactly.
Mayor, just to make sure that the consensus is reached, this is only in the event that the governor extends the executive order to allow virtual meetings. Presently, he has not. Andy made that clear. While Dade County has requested it, Broward is in the process of requesting it. It hasn't gone out yet. As of today, the governor still has not permitted it. The final thing that if you do go to a hybrid approach and the governor does allow it, I would suggest to do your quasi-judicial meeting as the one being in person and your non-quasi-judicial meeting as being the one that is on Zoom.
Okay.
Mayor, can I ask Keith a question?
Go right ahead.
Okay. Keith, the question for you is if the executive order is not extended, it will require us in July to have physical meetings.
Correct.
Legally, and I know the answer to this, but I'm asking Annie because I want to have it on record. That physical meeting requires a quorum present, but
Correct.
would still allow other council members, potentially up to 2 council members, to call in and participate that way, correct?
The way the law reads, Andy, it's actually permitted if, for emergency purposes. I would have to render an opinion saying that the fear of sickness from the disease constitutes an emergency.
Okay,
because technically speaking, you're not supposed to vote while not at a meeting, but most municipalities and county do allow it. So it would be permitted and we'd have to write it up ahead of time.
I have a question.
This wouldn't be a precedent either, though, because I remember lots of meetings where council members or the mayors haven't been in the meeting, but they've participated by phone.
Again, the law says that if it's an emergency, it can be done.
Got it. Thank you.
Elsa, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that it's only Dade and Broward County that want to extend anything. The rest of the state is pretty much ready to roll. And I think if someone feels the phone instead of at the meeting and it counts as being at the meeting, that's probably doable. But that is up to obviously legal. But I think I'm in with the governor.
I have a question for Keith.
Go ahead, Gary.
Do we have to be in the building or we have to be in the same room? Because let me give you an example. Vice Mayor's, it looks like she's in the conference room. Is that correct?
She is.
Yeah. Could we spread ourselves out around?
No, I mean, we can spread the dais so that Andy, myself, Russell, or whoever you would need to could go in another room so that you would have maximum distance on the dais. But a quorum is required to be in the same room in the presence of each other. That is definitely the legal requirement.
Oh, okay.
Andy held his finger up.
We don't have
three of
to.
us.
We don't have to decide this right away. I mean,
No.
I can honestly tell all of you, seriously, I have extreme compromised health issues. Not only the cancer, but the COPD as well as being an asthmatic. And so I know I'm a huge risk. I tell myself every day, if I catch this, I'm checking out. I'm not going to be here. I'll never be able to fight it. And I know that. So I think if we limit the amount of people that can come into the building and we spread ourselves out, putting people in different areas, and if anybody's feeling sick or whatever, well, there's a good reason to stay home. I mean, don't come. I mean, if you have a fever or you're not feeling well, you stay home. But,
One thing, council
I
member,
think we need to get back to a little bit of business.
the number of people permitted is capped at 50 regardless. So it's not the town doing it. That's actually the law currently. So as a result of that, you know, I think just total participants now is, you know, a big portion of that 50. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on it and allow people who can't be in the room to participate telephonically so they can listen in the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, Mayor, I have a good sense of where the council is, and obviously we'll watch to see what the governor does going forward. Thank you all.
All right. So
That's all I have,
Russell,
Mayor, so thank you.
Ordinance first reading, number 8.
Yes, Mayor, this is an ordinance of the town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, amending ordinance 2002-005 in the town's comprehensive emergency management plan and adopting a new continuity of operations plan in order to minimize human and property losses and to preserve the continuance of the town's municipal essential operations in the event of a natural or man-made disaster, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to approve the plans and providing an effective date.
Need a
Motion to
motion.
approve?
Motion approved.
Mayor, I'd like to speak to this, if I may.
Go
Second.
right ahead, Andy.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to explain what this is, certainly for the public. We're asking you to adopt 2 different documents tonight. The first is the CEMP, the Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan, which lays out, in the event of an emergency, the procedures that the town will follow in working with the county, working with the state, working with the federal government. We do this now, but we're asking you to formally adopt it. The last time the council adopted a CEMP was in June of 2002. A lot of things obviously have changed since then. So we're asking you to formally ratify that. The other document, the COOP, the continuity of operations plan, spells out, in the event of a disaster, how we will continue to maintain town services while we're dealing with that disaster. So we're asking you to adopt both documents tonight. That one's never been adopted, but I do want to thank Sandy Luongo, who drafted these and
Okay.
spent quite a
So
bit of
number
time
8,
on it.
number 9 is the second one.
No, actually, both documents are within item 8.
Right.
Oh, they are within item 8.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay.
Kemp and Coop.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional questions on this matter? Anybody have their hand raised?
We have one speaker, Mayor. Mr. Bright Cruz would like to, I guess, speak on this item.
Go right ahead.
Okay, let me just take him off mute. Mr. Bright Cruz, go ahead. Hold on. Sorry about that. Mr. Bright Cruz, go ahead.
Thank you. I just have one comment on this. In reading through it on page 6, I do have a concern, and I want to be absolutely positively clear that this has nothing to do with the current administration. As a matter of fact, I don't think this would be an issue at all with the current administration. I think we have an excellent administration, but we're not always guaranteed to have that. And we've had situations in the past where we had less than a stellar administration. And we had situations where this might come into an issue. So what I'm talking about specifically is on page 6. It talks about the contents of declaration. Letter A, it states that the emergency shall be declared by resolution of the town administrator, which I'm personally fine with. I think that makes sense. And the state of the emergency shall continue until the town administrator finds that the threat or danger no longer exists. It's that second piece that I have an issue with, because there's no counterbalance on that. There's no check and balance. It's just up to the town administrator when it comes off. And I think that the council should weigh in on that. I think that if that declaration is still in place 30 days after it was declared, that it should by default go away unless it is confirmed by the council. If there's an issue and the council cannot confirm it, perhaps the town administrator can renew it one time for 30 days or 60 days or something. But at some point, I think we need to have the council weigh in on this, either confirm it or let it end, because it should not rest with one individual whether or not the emergency continues on and on and on. Thank you.
Keith?
Did you say Keith or D? I'm sorry.
I said Keith.
I'm saying, after hearing former Councilmember Bright Cruz's concern, you could address the issue easily by saying the town administrator or the town council.
We'll say or and.
Or and.
Well, I'm suggesting or, because the town administrator may say it's over, and then there's no issue. Or if you overrule him, it would be the town council saying it was over.
Okay.
So you're saying or is legally the correct way to do it?
That is the correct way, and would require him to do it. And then you'd have to have another council meeting before it could be done. This way he could do it and then it's over. Or you all would have the opportunity to do it at the next meeting if you disagree with him not doing it.
Elsa?
Is it possible and or?
No, you'd have to.
Or is the better of the?
You'd have to pick one.
Gotcha.
Okay.
If you want and, that's fine too. It just.
No, I just meant I was going to use
more-
and or. I mean,
Yeah.
both words. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
All right.
That's it.
How about or, everybody? We all okay with or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay
Yeah.
with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's fix that minor.
Whoever made the motion agrees to that language and the second does as well.
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski made the motion.
Yes.
And I seconded it, and I say yes.
Okay. All right. Any additional comments?
No.
All right. Call the question.
1 second, let me just grab the motion here.
While Russell's grabbing that, Mayor, I will say this is an ordinance, so we'll be back before you for a second reading, and we'll have that change reflected then as well.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Steve has raised his hand again on this issue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Bright?
I do apologize. Hello?
Yes, go
Yes,
ahead.
you're
Yeah,
here.
we're
You're there.
listening.
Got it. Okay. I do apologize, and I appreciate what what you did addressed half of my concern. There is a possibility that we don't know what this disaster may be. The council may not be able to meet immediately to do this. And so I want to make sure that, after a certain period of time, that the council will be able to, finally meet and do it. So I guess this covers it. I was afraid that without it having an expiration date, if there's not an expiration date and the council can't meet to do it, it could still go on and on. So that's why I said that there might be a renewal for another 30 days or 60 days so that it doesn't just go on and on. That gives time. If there's a true disaster and the council cannot meet, there's time to, appoint somebody new to the council so they can take control of this situation. Maybe that's too far out in left field. I'm just trying to think that, it wasn't that long ago that we thought a pandemic where we would all be sitting at home having a conversation like this was out in left field. I won't interrupt again. I apologize, and I appreciate the ability to just kind of clarify my point.
Yeah, we've never gone more than 30 days?
No, I would not put a time frame in.
No.
And sorry, I was going to address them directly. But because of the fact that if the council couldn't meet, that means that the emergency was still in effect.
Exactly.
So putting an arbitrary time frame makes it very dangerous, because then the state of emergency could actually be ended, even though it should still be going on. So the way that we did it really does give a lot more protection than an arbitrary cutoff date, Because again, if the council can't meet, it means the emergency is still in occurring.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Call the question, please.
Okay, Councilmember Amundson,
Yes.
Councilmember Hartman,
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes.
Motion passes on first reading.
Okay. Number 9.
Number 9 is a resolution, Mayor. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving an interlocal agreement with Broward County, providing for the enforcement of emergency orders related to COVID-19 enforcement and the reimbursement by the county to the town for enforcement, sorry about that, for enforcement functions related to said emergency orders, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to execute said agreements and providing an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any public comment you see, Russell?
I see no hands raised, Mayor, on this issue.
Okay. Any council member comments on this issue?
Yeah, I've got a couple questions, if I could.
All right.
I guess it's directed to Andy and Julio. And I apologize for not bringing it up earlier, Andy, on one of our briefings. The assessment of $1,000 per day and the 15,000, is that a requirement by Broward County, or how was that number arrived? I just want to explain it to the residents.
Sorry, you're asking about what the reimbursement amount is?
No, the penalties.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
looking
by Broward County because they were looking for consistency countywide. That's the reason for them bringing the interlocal agreement forward as well, is they wanted to make sure that the enforcement was consistent throughout the county on the executive orders and the phased reopening.
Okay, so the penalties of $1,000 a day and up to $15,000, that's countywide, or anybody who goes along with the ILO.
That's recommended by the county. Obviously, in Southwest Ranches, a code case would be, ultimately the magistrate would have final say on that within Southwest Ranches.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the soccer meets and the pool parties and all that kind of stuff that's occurred here since March.
This is a function of what Broward County is telling us we need to do. And it conforms directly with the state statute on the maximum penalties allowed in a county of our size. So the county is looking for uniformity for everyone being the same, because financially it is actually assisting the town in the process as well.
Yeah, I just wanted an explanation on that. That's all, for the public, for the record. I'm done.
Mary, you're muted. Let me unmute you. For some reason, you're muted. There you go.
He said he was done.
No, I
Okay.
understand. I was turning it over to the mayor. Go ahead, Mayor.
All right. Go ahead and call the question.
All right, Councilmember Amundson,
Yes.
Councilmember Hartman,
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right.
Approval of minutes for May 28th.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. Any corrections on our minutes? Because we've been corrected before.
Let me look for Debbie Green. No, I'm only kidding.
Don't
Debbie,
be,
I hope you appreciate the humor, Debbie. Raise your hand. Hold on a second. Hang on.
No one?
Yeah, no, Debbie Green raised her hand. Hang on.
Okay.
Debbie, you there?
Oh, no, I lowered it. I was just laughing with you.
Okay.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Call the question.
All right, Councilmember Amundson,
Yes.
Councilmember Hartman,
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski,
yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right.
Go ahead, Gary.
Hey, you can do it.
Motion for adjournment?
Absolutely.
Awesome. It was nice
Absolutely.
seeing
Good seeing
everybody.
everybody.
I look forward to seeing everybody at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Bye,
Okay.
Good night.
everybody.
All right.
Awesome.
Have a good night.
Good night. Stay
Thank
safe.
you.
Oh.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.